Hey guys, Serac here, and today we're going to talk about some of the Traptrix rulings that come up when you play the deck. So the deck's very popular and is having some success at competitive level, but does have some rulings that you might not know about on first looking. So we'll start with the most important card of the deck, Traptrix Serra. So if we look at Serra's text, Serra's first line of text: this link summoned card is unaffected by trap effects. So remember, if you revive it with Holtea, it is now affected by trap effects. Secondly, it's unaffected, not untargetable, so it is still a valid target for any trap effect. It just won't do anything. Finally, it's unaffected by trap effects, but that does not mean that certain traps can't cause you to take an action involving Serra. So the biggest example would be if Evenly Matched is activated while Serra is on the field. Serra is a valid banish for Evenly Matched. This will most often come up if you also have a token, likely a Nibiru token, on the field as well. If you have a Nibiru token and a Serra, and your opponent activates Evenly Matched, you have to banish the Serra because you cannot banish a token face down. So just be aware of that. So, if we then talk about each of Serra's effects. So Serra's first effect is, if a normal trap card is activated, special summon one Traptrix monster from your deck with a different name. So firstly, it says a different name than ones you control. So if you control a Mermelio already, no getting Mermelio. Okay, if you control a Dionea, no getting Dionea. Secondly, both of its effects are if something happens. They are not quick effects, they are trigger effects that happen on a new chain after their requirement is fulfilled. Therefore, if, again, your opponent activates Evenly Matched and you choose not to banish Serra, because you don't control anything else, on a new chain you will get a Traptrix from your deck, which therefore Evenly Matched will have resolved at that point and won't be banished by Evenly Matched. Again, it activates on your traps and your opponent's traps. The next one is, if another Traptrix effect is activated, you can set any whole normal trap card from the deck. Again, that's more self-explanatory, there are fewer restrictions and silly things, but remember, it happens on a new chain after the chain in which a Traptrix monster's effect was activated resolves. So that's Serra, and Serra's probably the most confusing card in the deck. We will then have a look at Traptrix Mermelio for some main deck monsters. Mermelio is very quick. Mermelio's special summon effect to pop a card is a mandatory effect, so it has to resolve. This can be a little bit of a downside if your opponent has cards they want you to destroy. It also has upside, because it means even if your opponent controls 0 other spell trap cards, you will still activate the effect, it will resolve without effect, and then you can use Serra's effect. So just be aware of that. If we then talk about Traptrix Purica. So, Purica, we're talking specifically about the special summon effect. If Purica is special summoned, target a special summoned monster, no normal summoned monsters, nothing summoned off Kashtira Birth, okay, and you banish it. Also, during the next standby phase, your opponent can special summon one of their banished monsters. Not the one that you banished, any banished monster they control. Or they own, rather. Again, this is all one effect. If they negate the original banish effect, they don't get to special summon. You have to tell them, at the time you are activating this effect, that they get to special summon, okay? You cannot just say, oh, I banish a card you control, go through their standby phase, and then say, oh, you should have special summoned, but you've missed it. It's one effect, you have to dictate what the effect does to them. Just let them read the card. Let them read your card. Traptrix Arachnocamper. Arachnocampers, if you special summon Arachnocamper with its effect, it locks you from the extra deck, except for plant and insect monsters. Note, it only locks the extra deck, so you can still use Parallel Exceed, and it's only for the rest of the turn. So again, you can make Time Thief Redoer, you can make Baguska, you can make Zeus, as long as you do it before you summon Arachnocamper. Okay, so just be aware of that. Yes, so if it's you special summon this card from your hand, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except insect or plant monsters. Don't miss that. Okay. Traptrix Holteia. This is mainly looking at the graveyard effect. So, essentially, the graveyard effect is not activating a trap card. So, if you activate Holteia's graveyard effect while Sarah is on the field, you do not get to summon a Traptrix from the deck, because you're activating the effect of a trap card, not activating a trap card. Activating a trap card refers to turning a trap card over from face down to face up. Okay, so the effect special summon from the graveyard is not activating a trap card. Secondly, Holteia has a once per turn and only once one effect that turn. Okay, you cannot summon it and summon something from the graveyard. Okay, finally, we have a ruling involving Rafflesia and Holteia. Holteia is not a valid target for Rafflesia's effect. You cannot send Holteia from the deck to the graveyard in order to use its effect as Rafflesia's effect. Basically, the reason for this is because Holteia says, summon this card in defense position. Rafflesia makes its effect the effect of that card. Rafflesia is always ready on the field if it's summoning itself. If it's activating its effect, therefore you can't summon itself again in that regard. Okay, so you just cannot send Holteia with Rafflesia. Our final trap card is, we have Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare. So, if your opponent has special summon a monster this turn, target a monster with 2000 or more attack, destroy it, then if you have a whole monster in your graveyard, banish one monster from your opponent's graveyard. Main thing for this is things that effects that activate on destruction, or leaving the field, etc. Probably the most common one being Mirror Jade. If you activate a Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare, okay, and target and destroy a Mirror Jade, and then banish the Mirror Jade, Mirror Jade's effect will not get to activate. And the reason because of this is because Mirror Jade has to have stayed in the graveyard, or wherever it is going, in order to activate its Leave the Field effect. So, because it's been moved out of the graveyard in the same chain, we don't get to activate Mirror Jade. If Terrifying Trap Hole said banish it instead, instead of saying destroy it, then banish it, if you control a whole trap card, if it said target a monster with 2000 attack, destroy it, or if you have a whole normal trap card in your graveyard, banish it, Mirror Jade would activate. But because it's going through the graveyard and then being banished in the same chain link, it does not get to activate. Okay? So, those are some of the little ruling quirks around the Traptrix deck that you might have found. I hope that that's been vaguely informative to you, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.